Don't look scared.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the PPC Questions and Answers show. On this show, we keep it buttoned up. We don't talk about ourselves. We get right to the questions. My name is doesn't matter. Today's question comes from I gotta laugh at him. All right.
Yeah,
Today's
nice.
question comes from Terran. He made a comment on the YouTube channel, and very interesting question here. Can I make my ads not show up when my biggest competitor shows his? That's it. That's the question. So, Terran, what I got to know is how bad did this guy beat you up?
Yeah.
Do you owe him money? What is the deal with not wanting to show up? So, Chris, just this is not the answer, but just to throw this out there and try to read Terran's mind. If you're worried about paying too much because the other guy's bigger and you're worried about him bidding things up, and if he has a way higher bid than you, assuming your quality scores are close together, his huge bid's not going to really affect Terran's, right? Like Terran will show up lower and he'll get the cost per click that he wants. So I would not be scared to run when the other guy shows up. But we answer questions on the show here, Chris. So we looked into it. The only thing we could come up with was one solution.
Yeah.
Very weird one. We don't know if it'll work because it's probably never been tried, but it's the only thing we can think of. So, Chris, why don't you break that down?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I just have to say, Terran, this is, I mean, I've been doing AdWords a long time and I've never thought of this before. That's really interesting to avoid showing up when someone else shows their ad. Before I get into an answer, I want to say there's a potential problem with this because, like Jason said, if that person, when you look at your competitor analysis report in AdWords, if they have like a 90% overlap with you and you make this change, you would essentially be excluding yourself from 90% of your searches that would show up across his. So you're going to be potentially losing a lot of impressions.
Got to be careful.
I mean, that would be a big issue because suddenly you're going to be not showing up no matter how much you bid if he overlaps you a lot. So that's a concern. But if he does not overlap you a lot, and maybe it's not a cost issue, maybe it's something like, I want to try and show up when he's not there. Maybe he turns off his ads at 5 o'clock and I want to start showing up at 5, that kind of stuff that I can automate. Maybe that's what he's trying to fill in the gaps. He's trying to kind of catch him when he's not there.
Quit trying to justify this.
I'm hoping that Terran's I'm hoping maybe he's got some kind of super cool idea that we hadn't thought of. Already thought of something really cool here that I had never thought of. But so here's the way to do it. Basically, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to your campaign settings and change your bid strategy. Okay, what you're specifically going to have to change it to is outranking share, target outranking share. Okay, and when you set this up, you're going to have to set up a special bid strategy that assigns a negative 90%, 95%, something very low specifically for that domain. So when you create this bid strategy, you're going to have to put his domain in, so abccompany.com, put his domain in there, and then automatically put a percentage of negative 90%,
right?
Something like that. And you should essentially drop off, or at least the worst you would do is show up at the very bottom,
right?
When that competitor shows. Jason, is this anything you've ever done this before?
I've done target outranking share, but I've never done it with a negative bid adjustment. So, Terran, what target outranking share does is the way it's supposed to work is you want to outrank a competitor. That's why it's called target outranking share. And every time their ads show up, your ads show up, or you have a bid there, and then they ask you when you set up what domain you want to target in the target outranking share, which competitor. You usually put in a positive bid adjustment, like, okay, every time he shows up, when I show up, I want to increase my bids by 25%. So I try to show up higher than him. But in this case, you're trying to not show up. So that's why we suggest We don't think you can't do a negative 100%, but you can do a negative 90 or something close to that. And so
actually,
what's
Jason,
the truth here, Chris?
I was just testing it. Jason and I tested this about a week ago, and then we just decided to answer the question today. So we're forgetting what we actually learned. You can't do negative at all. So we're going to have to change our advice on this. What you actually do is you put a max bid limit of like
there it is. Yes.
Cent.
Okay. So Terran, what you do is instead of the negative or positive bid adjustment, you put a target max bid limit of 25 cents, $1, whatever.
1 cent. Yeah. I mean,
1 cent. So what this would do, Terran, is you have your bids in your account, say $10, hypothetically, and you show up high and all that kind of stuff. But then anytime the competitor's ad is showing up, your bid is going to be limited to 1 cent. What you put in here, 1 cent. And then that should make your ad probably not show up. We think when your competitor does not show up on an auction, your default bids will go back into place and you'll be able to show up. But we're not 100% sure of that.
Yeah. I mean, the way the situation would work is the client or the competitor shows up, your bids are automatically limited to 1 cent, and you're not going to show. But when they're not there, then your normal bid situation is going to run. So that's the way it should work. Not anything we've tested. Really cool idea. But to be clear, I just want to say what you have to do is you go to the strategy and you're going to put a target outranking share percentage of 1%, because that's the minimum you can put on there. And then you put a max bid limit of 1 cent and name it, put a benchmark domain in there, hit save, and apply it to your campaign. And that's it. You have now run and hide in a corner every time your competitor shows up. If that's what you want to do,
we're happy to help you.
Yeah, we will show you where to run and hide.
And Terran, you commented on the YouTube channel, so we know you're watching. So let us know how this goes.
All right, so that's it. I guess Jason forgot that it's his time to say goodbye on the episode, so I'm going to do it.
I got to put up with.
There he goes. There he goes. He gets so angry. Terran, please give us a thumbs up.
I try.
Because Jason's trying.
I try.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back next time.